Hey, give me a fist bump with the other fist.
Oh, shit.
That's a boom. See that? Anyway, we're in an igloo. Don't know how we wound up here, but me and my brother sit here in an igloo. And today's video is going to be a very, very interesting video. Maybe if you're watching this video, you have a best friend or someone that you would even consider a brother. Dario is fortunate enough to be my blood brother, my older brother by 1.5 years. And a lot of people have asked me the question because we see a lot of sets of brothers that want to get into business and entrepreneurship, and they'll ask me, what's the best business to start if you have a brother? What's the best type of company to start? What's the best entrepreneurial journey you can go about as an endeavor if you have a brother? Well, I can't really tell you that, right? Well, I am going to tell you that, but I can't tell you what's going to be best for you. All I can tell you is what actually worked for us throughout our journey as entrepreneurs. If you don't know our backstory, you could go take a look into everything that we've built, what we've done, how we started. But to me, there is nothing better than starting a business with someone that is your blood, especially if you can trust that person. It's funny, we went out to dinner last night, and as a joke, I go, tonight dinner's on you. And we just look at each other and laugh because at the end of the day, all the money comes out of the same checking account. It all comes out of the same business account. We can expand only on the business that we started because that's really all we can speak on. We don't want to go and say, oh, you should get into e-commerce or drop shipping. That's not our game. That's not our vehicle. That's not really our vertical. I can only speak on what we do and what we know. Right. So if you want to expand kind of on how we got started, what we're doing these days, kind of what things look like.
Yeah, of course. So guys, we started a local content agency. That was the first business. Actually, let me take you back farther than that. Excuse me. We first started really just trying to blow up originally. That was our goal.
We had a podcast. We had a podcast with a bunch of girls, and we were just trying to...
We thought just blowing up would make us money. So that was our only goal at the time. Luke, I think, dropped out of high school at that point, and I was still in college. And our only goal at that point was let's just blow up, and then we'll figure it out from there. And then things will kind of start to click, I guess. So we did the first part of that really successfully, which was blowing up. We blew up.
Blew up on TikTok. We had clips getting millions of views. The problem is we never turned that viewership into dollars. And ultimately, all we were doing was having a really a really time investing hobby. We were investing tons of time into this podcast, talking to all these different people, but it wasn't making any money. We wound up shutting that business down because at the end of the day, a business makes money. Business makes money. A hobby is something you do that doesn't make money. So ultimately, this whole podcast thing didn't wind up turning into a lucrative business. It was really just a hobby. So we said, all right, we got to hit the drawing board. We got to kind of repivot. And we knew we had certain skills, right? We knew how to make videos. We knew how to take pictures. Dario had learned how to edit. I was learning how to conversate with people efficiently and learning how to sell. And we said, you know what? Let's combine these skills and let's hit the drawing board and let's build a business around these skills that we already have. And for us, the business that made the most sense was a local content business, where basically what we would do is instead of making the content for us through this podcast, we would go make content for local businesses. We would take their pictures, shoot their videos, edit it together, post that stuff. And we were fairly successful in this business because the way it works is you generate recurring revenue. So if I get a restaurant, for example, that needs content creation done, they want 10 pictures and 5 videos, they need that content every single month. So the way that we structure it and the way that we set things up is we got in there, we would take pictures and videos for local businesses, we would take photos and videos for chiropractors and restaurants and dentists and solar companies and all different kinds of businesses, and we would charge them a monthly retainer fee between $2,000 and $3,000 a month to get in there, shoot their content, edit it together, and post it.
Yeah.
And that business, in 3 months, we scaled to over $25,000 a month. And we wound up being fairly successful in that business, and then we kind of recognized that there was an even better venture out there. And if you want to pick that piece up.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And then, guys, one thing that Luke didn't really touch on, after the podcast, before we got into the marketing agency and the local content business, we also had started a clothing brand, which was a terrible business move. But we had started it. We're like, hey, listen.
If you're a beginner and you want to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month, do not start a clothing brand, please. Especially if you're early on. This whole dream of e-commerce and drop ship and blah, blah, blah is not all that it's made out to be by most of the gurus that you watch. So I'm trying to give you as raw of advice as we possibly can. But we actually shut that local content business down, even though it was making 25 grand a month, because we ran into an issue with scalability. We really wanted 100,000 a month. We figured our dream life was going to cost us at least 100,000 a month. And we knew that to try to scale that business to 100K a month, the margins would get cut really thin. There's only so many local businesses in your immediate area. Hard to sell that many accounts and service them at the same time. Really just ultimately a challenge and not the best model to be in.
Exactly. So we had shut that down, and then we had to make a pivot. I remember we had some local content clients left, and Luke really made the decision of like, yo, listen,
we're done.
We're done. We have to shut this down. We have to go into a model that's definitely more scalable, that we can actually scale, because I guess he just knew he knew that, you know, we had to do that and make that move. So at the time I was like, I don't really think it's a good idea. Like, we still have some clients. Like, I don't really want to lose that revenue right now. But long term, of course, that made sense. So we shut the business down, and then we pivoted to a strictly digital model. And we didn't really know what that was at the time. That ended up being what we're currently running to this day, which is our marketing agency, and we serve 100 plus clients. But actively. At that time, we just knew we shut that business down, and we kind of opened up what we have today.
We started, and this is the best business model, in my opinion, to start if you have a brother, a service-based, very niche marketing agency. So effectively what we do is we work with one very specific type of business, like, for example, a restaurant or a dentist or a solar company, and we implement a growth system into their business to help them generate more leads and more new business through providing services like search engine optimization, paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram, as well as CRM integration through a software called GoHighLevel. And that is the exact business that we run to this day. We actively do over $200,000 a month in business with over 70% profit margins. And the benefit of this kind of business is you can work digitally and remotely wherever the hell you want. So today's technically a work day. We're in a fucking igloo in a remote location. Won't tell you where we are.
No idea.
In all seriousness, you can work from wherever you want. You can earn and generate unlimited amounts of clients, and your earned income ceiling never hits a ceiling. You can continue earning more and more money. And if you can build a productized system, you can scale that productized system for one very specific type of niche, and you can genuinely crush it inside of that market. And that is exactly what we went out and did. And if I went back and if you basically gave me all the information I have now, and it was all consolidated, I would have skipped the podcast. I would have skipped the clothing brand. I would have skipped the local content. I would have skipped trying to make motivational content on the internet when I really didn't have a leg to stand on. I would have skipped all those things, and I would have started where I'm at right now. And that's why we want to come back to the internet and give back, being that we used to be influencers and now we're entrepreneurs building an audience. It's a completely different thing. Knowing how to make money, having real skills, I always say, take our audience away. We don't even have that big of an audience. Take all the subscribers we have away, followers on TikTok, YouTube, doesn't matter. I'm gonna make significant amounts of money. It doesn't matter, because I have a real service-based business that doesn't rely on an audience. And that's a great position to be in, because a lot of people don't wanna have their face on the internet. They don't wanna do what we do. They don't wanna put themselves out there. And that's completely reasonable, and that's completely respectable as well. But if I could go back, me and my brother, in my parents' fucking basement with a whiteboard, trying to figure things out, I would start a niche service marketing agency where you provide services that are done completely digitally. So I would start a super niche marketing agency. I would only start with one very specific type of service for a high ticket niche, like maybe a solar company, and I would provide a service like Facebook ads or search engine optimization, monthly recurring, to help that business grow and scale. And that is exactly what I would do if you took everything away from me right now. I'd rebuild what we have. So the title of the video is fairly straightforward. It is the best business to start with your brother. So if you have a brother, I would advise you at least look into this model. And I hope that maybe if you're a new viewer watching this video, you at least got some value out of this, so you at least know what we do, because it's enabled us to live the life that we live to this day. And you can see all the dumb shit that we buy, the Bluesy, the Wimbledon, the Aston, the apartments, the dinners, all this shit.
Daytona.
It's all there. Yeah. It's all there, and we're just getting started.
Did I have to throw Daytona in?
You didn't have to throw the Daytona.
I didn't have to do that.
But we're still just getting started, and that's the best part. We're still so young. We're still so early yet in our career, and I'm excited to take you guys along the journey with us. But I hope this video can inspire you, because if we figured it out, like I said, sitting in our parents' basement, not knowing what to do, I fucking hated my job. I worked as a server in a breakfast restaurant, and then I would go work at an ice cream shop, and I was not happy with my career. I was not happy with my life. I barely just got my GED, and I had no idea directionally what was going to happen in my life, and we figured it out. And if we figured it out, you're going to figure it out.
From our parents' basement to a fucking igloo.
From our parents' basement to your sister's basement. to your sister's bedroom.
To your sister's igloo.
I'm in your sister's igloo. That makes no sense. Anyway, I hope you guys loved that video in all seriousness. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe for more content like this.
Now go work.